Hey guys, this is Canfree15 and I'm back out with another video for you guys, and I'm back with another episode review for Marvel's What If. And this episode covers what if T'Challa was Starlord, which is definitely freaking interesting to say the least. I'm not really gonna go too heavy into the story points, but just kind of give a generic review of the story points. It was pretty cool to see in this case how this would make sense. So yeah, first things first, I want to get off the mention. Obviously, this episode, even if when you get to the end of the episode, this episode was definitely dedicated to Chadwick Boseman. I think he actually did his lines in this before he passed away. So this was probably more than likely his last work, being the character of T'Challa, which again, it was so sad about it. And again, his story was insane. The fact that he was filming all these movies and had cancer, man, that's just something amazing. It is an amazing story. It is very sad, and it's really heartbreaking that he passed away like that. So again, RIP, rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. That's a soul that will never be forgotten. And I did like the fact that obviously Marvel at the end of this episode gave a nice little tribute at the end of saying like to our friend Chadwick Boseman and stuff like that. That was really nice of them. But so let's get to the episode review. Essentially, obviously you want to know, okay, how would it be where T'Challa was Starlord and gets taken into space? Well, essentially, we find out that essentially the Ravagers literally took the wrong kid. We see T'Challa kind of going out, and he was playing around with his spear. He throws it outside the Wakanda barriers. He goes out and he gets picked up by obviously the Ravagers. And it's funny because you have hold on a quick second, guys. Okay. Sorry for that, but you have it to where you get this funny scene where Yondu is like, "Hey, you brought me the wrong kid," and they're like, really? It's a kid." And he's like, "Do you see the difference in Peter Quill to this kid?" And it's funny because it's like they show Peter Quill, and obviously Yondu's men are like, "Well, because we even see his brother and everything." We see the guy that plays James Gunn's brother plays. I forgot his name. It's been so long since we've seen these characters. But you have it to where they're like, I can't really tell the difference. And Yondu's like, oh my goodness. And it's funny because it's like one kid is a white kid and another kid's a black kid, and it's like, how can you not tell the damn difference? But anyways, Yondu talks to T'Challa. And essentially he's like, "Hey, I can take you back home and everything." But T'Challa is like, "Oh no, I want to actually explore and see the vast galaxies and stuff like that." So that's freaking interesting and stuff like that. So he takes him apart. We get a time skip to where we get the obviously that iconic scene in Guardians of the Galaxy where Peter Quill went to get I believe the Power Stone, but this time it's with T'Challa. Now he gets obviously attacked by the one dude, and eventually that group of people joins the Ravagers. We also find some interesting things about in this timeline because of T'Challa's influence. He's more of a popular type of, I guess, intergalactic type of hero as Starlord than Peter Quill was in the original set timeline. We see that, well, they go to this planet. One, guess what? Thanos is a good guy in this timeline. He has no idea. He has no thoughts of using the stones to snap or anything. He's a good guy, mostly behind the aspects of T'Challa. We see Nebula in this too. She looks different, and it seems like her and T'Challa have some sort of relationship going on here because she has like a nickname. I forgot what the nickname was, but it was kind of a nickname where you could interpret it as a way of her flirting with T'Challa, which is very freaking interesting. and stuff like that. And like I said, you have Thanos, who's a good guy. He's running like this bar. So literally the Mad Titan, yes, freaking Thanos is running this bar, which we actually see Drax in this bar. And the difference for Drax is the fact that he's not he doesn't hate Thanos, because in the original timeline, we know that Thanos attacked his homeworld and killed everybody he loved. In this timeline, because T'Challa became Starlord, well, when T'Challa came to help out his planet, the people that invaded Drax's obviously his home planet was the Kree, and Starlord or T'Challa saved Drax's planet. So okay, very interesting stuff. And we see very much differences. We have good Thanos, Drax likes Thanos, and we have Nebula, who looks pretty sexy and apparently is in some sort of relationship with T'Challa. Also, Nebula has hair. She isn't bald. She has legit hair. So yeah. So that's very freaking interesting to say the least. So yeah, now the whole thing, T'Challa and Nebula have a talk is about the fact that kind of the big mastermind in the galaxy is the Collector. And he has this, item that they need to get that can produce more lives on these barren wastelands of planets so they can save other people. And a fun fact, I got to make a mention about the Thanos whole thing. Now, Thanos kind of makes mentions about his real life main timeline stuff about essentially destroying half the universe. And it's funny because the ongoing gag with people are like saying when they talk to Thanos, they're like, I think you're talking about genocide. And Thanos is like, no, it's not genocide. It's something entirely different. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, I'm sorry. Thanos is killing. And yes, Josh Brolin actually comes back to reprise his role as Thanos. And it's funny as hell. So what happens is they go sneak into the Collector's headquarters and stuff like that. And we obviously get the scene where you see the dog. You see Howard the Duck in it. Howard the Duck actually looks like he's going to be more influential. They also, in the meantime, while T'Challa's doing this and breaking into the Collector's vault, they also having a kind of stall type of tactic to get the alert of the Black Order. It's the Black Order, which is Proxima Midnight, Corvus Claw, Ebony Maw, and I forgot the last guy, the big beef guy. If I said his name, whatever. But the Black Order from Infinity War and Endgame. They're still bad guys in this, but they work for the Collector. And the thing is, there's a distraction going on. Eventually what happens is the Black Order captures Thanos and the others. And we are led to believe that Nebula betrays him while T'Challa is looking more into the vault. Nebula comes up on T'Challa and betrays T'Challa. And listen, you can't always trust a pretty face, huh? So T'Challa gets thrown into prison. And also in the meantime, T'Challa found this Wakandan ship that we find out early in the episode that the reason why T'Challa didn't return back to Wakanda is because he thought Wakanda was destroyed. And there was no point in going back. When he goes on the ship, he sees that the Wakandan people were actually looking for him, and Wakanda was not destroyed. They actually went out to space to look for T'Challa and bring him back home, everything. So and then he gets captured. Now, this is when he tells Yondu that, he lied to him about everything that happened and stuff like that, and that they're not really his family and everything. And stuff like that. Kind of the similar thing with what happened with Peter Quill and Yondu. The only difference is we see by the end of the episode, T'Challa forgives Yondu and stays with him, as opposed to Peter Quill, who kind of goes off on his own and kind of rebels against him till really Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where they kind of make up and stuff like that. So what happens is we kind of find out that Nebula comes back, frees them, and we find out that she's a double agent. We thought she was going to turn on them, but no, in reality, her and T'Challa talked about this and they had a plan in place. So T'Challa, gets the thing that they need to get while also taking the Wakandan ship. Also, Nebula puts in one of the Black Order's mouths one of obviously the plant things to stuff, and Ed takes out the Black Order and everything. So yeah, they eventually escape with the whole thing. They eventually escape the Collector's planet and everything. They lock the collector up. The one person in the background, the one pink-haired girl, essentially releases everybody that I guess the collector had locked up as a trophy or prisoner, and they all went to attack the collector because, hey, why not? And stuff like that. So the thing is, what happens is how they end the episode off is T'Challa with the others, with the other Ravagers, they go to Wakanda. They meet up with his father. T'Challa reunites with his father and his family and tells him and says, hey, this is my new family that's been taking care of me the last few years and stuff like that. And we just have, obviously, the Ravagers talk with the Wakandans. And it's still kind of weird seeing Thanos here, because we remember from Infinity War, Thanos went to Wakanda and literally just went there to get Vision Stone and was an antagonist to the Wakandans and his force because of his forces. Here, he's just talking and stuff like that, still making the whole thing, and yet the people are like, that sounds like genocide. And it was great and everything. And you just have a nice embrace between, obviously, T'Challa's new family, found in the Ravagers in this timeline, as well as meeting up with his old family and stuff like that. So, yeah, that was pretty nice. We do see Peter Quill in this episode, and we see Kurt Russell's character show up, but he's like, it's time to go, my son. And then you just have to watch her say, yeah, that is going to screw up this timeline for the time being. Yeah, that's a story for another day. And it's funny because the ego comes in, he's like, you're coming with me, my son. And it's like, oh my God. But the episode ends off. I thought this episode was great. I had a blast watching this episode. It was pretty intriguing to see the differences in this, which was a whole lot more differences. I would say a lot more differences than obviously last week's episode with Captain Carter stuff, because most of that stuff was just adapted off the first Avenger. Here, it was completely different. Here, you had like freaking Drax cool with Thanos. Thanos runs a bar. He's not the evil mastermind he was in the main MCU timeline. Obviously, the biggest thing is the fact that the Ravagers took the wrong kid. So yeah, but this was a good episode. Very much enjoyed this episode. I don't know what next week's episode is going to be, but yeah, this What If show is really good, and I'm really liking it. And I'm liking the fact that there's decent timeline and stuff like that. But other than that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's episode of What If, as well as hit that subscribe button to get more What If content every Wednesday. Other than that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll catch you guys in the next video on the next What If video. Until then, guys, catch you guys later. Peace.